Well, hello and welcome to this installment of our video blog, View from the Pew with Lou. I might have to tell you, as you may guess, we're not exactly sitting in the pews. I'm happy to say that I've been invited to share a little bit with Lucy Ray, who is the chairperson of our staff parish committee, and she's graciously given us an opportunity to visit in her home. I'm going to bring Lucy in a second, but I want to remind you that our blog is essentially to explore the mission and vision of Hope United Methodist Church, which is connecting with God, each other, and our community as we grow as mature disciples of Jesus Christ by experiencing God and sharing the love of Jesus Christ in the world. So I'm going to ask Lucy to come in and we'll get started. Thank you. Welcome back, and I'm seated here with Lucy Ray. Thank you, Lucy, for inviting a view from the Pew with Lou into your home today. You serve the Hope community as the chairperson of our staff parish committee, which is essentially the group of people that relate the congregation and the staff and the pastor in terms of both goals and also achievements for the group. I wanted to ask you to kind of expand a little bit. I know it was last week or so that you announced that Kelly Smith, Pastor Kelly, would be returning for this year, and that along with that, there were some accomplishments, goals that he was to be focused on, as well as, and I'm glad you brought that out, the congregation also has a set of goals and responsibilities for the coming year. So if you could help us understand a little bit about that.
Okay, I did say this in church, and I guess you have to hear it 3 times, right, to get it?
Something like
Maybe.
that. Sure.
Anyway, the first one that the staff parish decided to give as a goal for Kelly was to implement a comprehensive leadership recruitment plan for our church in all the parts of the church. So he would be drawing from the laity and staff as well.
What would some of the things that he would do there specifically? Can you help us?
Well, he would state what it means to be a leader, okay? And as a leader, you know, you're expected to practice the spiritual disciplines yourself, and be accountable as the pastor is to us. The leaders become accountable to the pastor as well.
So provide some guidance and specific things that we need to work on. Great.
Right. And also, you know, the responsibilities and what comes along with that. And then the second thing was to implement a plan for making disciples at Hope, and that means, you know, encouraging people to join discipleship groups, small groups, actually maybe mapping out a plan for a person to move through discipleship training, if you will, to follow a course or a pattern.
So if I hear that, that seems to me describing what a mature disciple might look like.
Exactly.
And how I could get there. Sounds good.
And there are many ways to do that.
Right.
It's not just being in a book study group. You know, we also have other things like that you can go out and be in the community, like Habitat for Humanity, or of all the wonderful mission things that Jean and Bud Howe provide for the opportunities for us there. And then also the last thing is probably going to take up a lot of his time, and that's putting together a building plan and implementing that plan so that it can meet the objectives of the spatial limitations and things that we would like to see in the future for Hope, because we are short on space.
And so that's why he's called the meeting on May 20th, right?
Exactly.
So that we can begin to discuss exactly what that looks like in the midst of. Right.
And he can, the leadership group will be able to, in addition to Kelly, but answer questions. They've already made up questions, and they'll provide all that information and start a process of town hall meetings and educating our.
So those are some of the things that we are expecting or looking to Pastor Kelly. What about the things we're expecting and looking for from the congregation?
Okay, so the other part of the staff parish is kind of being the liaison between the congregation and the pastor.
Okay.
And so we always have our eyes and ears open to what's going on in our community. So the first thing is to support the building initiative that's going to
Okay.
be coming forth for the future and responding to that. And of course, Kelly, the building committee, and others will, our marketing group, will be explaining all that to people so that they can understand how they can participate.
Okay.
And that means, this means the life and the community, the church itself will be able to grow.
So it's not just money, it's how to address the sense of the need and participate in the program as it develops.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then the second thing is to hold all of ourselves, each one of us, accountable to and actively be involved in some discipleship making activity
Okay.
at Hope and in our community. And I kind of alluded to that earlier. It could be through study or missions.
Okay.
Okay, so that's our part of being a member. I think we say that when we become a member, that we will participate in those ways.
So I'm experiencing God myself.
Yes.
I'm sharing the love of Christ in the community. I have to take a serious
Mhm.
step forward in my own journey,
Mhm.
just as an individual member.
Right.
Okay.
And as Kelly says a lot of times, and as you and I know, it's all about relationships.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is kind of a relationship building thing,
Okay.
whether it be through personal study or habits, disciplines, whatever, or establishing relationships in the community.
Connections.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
connections, right. That's
Right.
our word,
That's our
right?
word.
And then the last thing is to invite our community to Hope, and to continue to be an open and inviting church. And as I've said before, it's nice to be invited someplace.
Okay.
You know, I like to be invited to dinner.
Why not invite
Or
people
I
to
like to be invited to any group, you know.
Sure.
I mean, that means that people want you to belong, you know.
Okay.
And I think that belonging is important. We want to belong to a community that, you know, loves God, and God loves our community, and we share a common interest. So being an inviting and open church is one of the things that, you know, God asks us to do, to not only love ourselves, but to love our neighbor
Neighbor.
as ourselves, right?
Yep.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
So there you go. We're going to be continuing to connect with key leaders in our church. Lucy's our first, and some of our staff folks over the next few months as we continue to develop what it means to be a mature disciple here at Hope. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to seeing everybody on May 20th, as well as stay tuned next week for our next installment. God bless.